Red Rover, send the floodlight right up. Yeah! Not to worry, still works. By the way, I said toss it, not high and outside Randy Johnson fastball. So today we're talking about the new Milwaukee M12 Rover Light. Now, why is this into play? Well, Milwaukee decided to name each one of these. Well, let me back up a second. My favorite two lights, personally, my favorite two lights that Milwaukee offers, and really that anybody offers, are these two lights right here. They get used the most, and then after that would be the underhood light from Milwaukee as well. They're just handy lights. They're little floodlights that magnetize and you can hold and what have you. Now the crazy thing is, now Milwaukee came out with this new one, which I think is probably going to take the cake, maybe top of all of these. So it'll be top 4, and this will be number 1. This is the new pivoting floodlight, something, personal maintenance or maintenance and service or something floodlight. Now here's the crazy thing. I got 3 sons, but I didn't name them all Daryl. Even though I like all of them, all of these are named Rover. I have no idea which one is which. I don't memorize model numbers, but they're all named the Rover. This is the Rover, I think, pivoting something floodlight. This is the Rover personal stick light or something, and this is the new Rover pivoting service and flood, service and maintenance, something like that. Anyway, Milwaukee needs to do a better job at naming their lights. You can't name them all Rover. We're not going to memorize that. Anyway, bottom line is, this is a really nice light. We're excited to see it. Very handy light. And here's the kicker here. 24-hour runtime on a 4 amp hour battery. So with the 4.0, like you see it right here, in low, this will run for 24 hours. That's an all-day light. Why do you need an all-day light? Seriously, why do we need an all-day light? Why do you use light during the day? Anyway, you get my drift. It's definitely going to run all night, or under that car, under that hood, under a trailer, wherever you're needing light, it will run a long time. So even in high, you're going to get multiple hours of runtime off of one of these 4.0 XC batteries. So let's dive in and take a little closer look at the features on this light, because there are still a few features we haven't talked about yet. And then we'll show some of the performance as far as what we've seen and how we've used it so far. And then we'll wrap it up. By the way, model number on this is the 2367-20. Of course, will be for the bare tool, and I believe that's the only way it comes. You may be able to get it with a kit, but as when they released it, they only offered it in a bare tool or a bare light, if you will, so you can use your M12 batteries. So many times I forget to weigh these, so let's weigh it with the 4.0 battery. You're looking at 1.10 or 1 pound 10 ounces. So over 1.5 pounds. If we look at just ounces, so yeah, 26 ounces in grams, going to be 735 grams with the 4.0 battery. And guess what? A light doesn't work without the battery. At least this one doesn't. So anyway, so there's your weight on that. Now you don't have to run the XC batteries. You can run, one of the 2.0 amp hour batteries, 3.0, even a 6.0 if you wanted to. But you're going to get the most runtime, obviously, out of a 4.0 or 6.0 battery. Very easy to use this. Have a power button at the top that's going to cycle through a low and a high. Something I noticed that's pretty cool on this, it's got kind of a soft start. So I don't know if the camera's going to show it, but when you turn it on, it takes about a half second for it to ramp up. So again, kind of like a soft start, it looks like. Now the low, it just pretty much comes on right away. But in that high, it's kind of got that about a half second, 3/4 of a second to ramp that up to high. So kind of cool. Even when you're staring right at, no, you shouldn't do that. 700, I believe 700 lumens or 750 lumens. For a handheld light, it really puts out a lot of light, and it does a good flood effect. It really has a wide beam. You'll see that in some footage we'll show here in a moment. You'll also notice this button here. Now that does not that's not a mode or anything. You see when I hit that, it doesn't change anything. Just the power button is going to cycle through the mode. And you're also going to get a charge light here. But this button here is right up under this lip. We actually have a 2.1 amp out, so we can charge our smart devices. as you'll see here. And so we can use that to power on, power off, that charging capability. So pretty cool to have that charge out, if you will. So if you need to charge something and you got all the light you need, you can use that, and that's up under a cover as well. And by the way, this is IP54 rated, so it's going to protect it. It's going to be protected from dust and water intrusion. Get a 110-degree pivot here. This is really nice. So you can stick this under a hood because, by the way, you have a magnet here on the back. It's a pretty strong magnet. You can see here, easily sticks itself to the. So that works really well. You also have a keyhole here. So if you want to put a screw and a stud, you can hang it on that as well. So that works really, really easily. And then it holds in the hand very easily also if you're just wanting to inspect things, what have you. We used it under a hood. We used it under the bed of a UTV or a side-by-side to make some late night repairs. And then we just used it out in the woods to actually see how much light we could produce. And we were very impressed with that. And as I mentioned, for the handheld back here, this rubber overmolding does have a better feel to it where you can grip that rather well also. Now I mentioned a couple of other lights that I really like. And that's these other Rovers here. These Rover, what they would consider the personal lights. By the way, I was just having a little fun with the Rover name. But anyway, both these are Rover lights. This is the pivoting. It's got a magnet back here. I was using this. In fact, I actually captured it on an Instagram video. And I dropped this when I was doing an oil change in the oil. And I got a video of me actually fishing it out after it had sat in there for a few minutes because that oil was really hot and I was under a vehicle, so I didn't feel like fishing it out right then. I had to get some long needle nose pliers to fish this out, and as it came out, the light was still on. So pretty cool post, but my point is this thing has survived really well. It's banged up a lot. By the way, you also have an impact resistant lens here as well that's going to protect that. Same with these. It's done very well. In fact, I just noticed this a minute ago. Watch this. I'll pull this battery out of here. And yeah, there's some nice oil right there, still inside the light, but still seems to be holding up very, very well. And this thing gets kicked around all the time. You saw this one get thrown at me. Thank you. And still works really well. So love these lights from Milwaukee. I love to see this pivoting style and a little more output. So again, 700 lumens from this little guy with 24-hour runtime. Even if you're only getting 8 hours of runtime, the fact that you're not having to worry about a battery, the whole time you're doing something is very, very nice. And then the output as well, being able to charge a phone or any other device that you've got with that 2.1 amps. Really, really cool. I mentioned earlier with the new pivoting floodlight, the new Rover service and repair floodlight. That's it. Anyway, model number 2367. I mentioned that it was either 700 or 750 lumens. It is actually 700 lumens on high. Now on low, it's 250 lumens. So that's where you're going to get that 24-hour runtime. But still, even on high, you're going to get many, many hours of use out of a 4.0 battery. You're even going to get hours of use out of a 2.0 battery as well. Now, the interesting thing about this, as I mentioned, I kind of alluded to it, that the underhood light here is one of my favorites, but I could see this kind of taking over in many areas. Now, this is only 1,350 lumens, so about double of what this is, but this is just a bigger light. Now, I'm not going to replace this. This still gets used a ton. It's so easy to stretch it across a hood, but I could see in many repairs where this light could take care of most of what this does. So anyway, it's going to be a very handy light. And by the way, it's also the Milwaukee TrueView light. In other words, you should be seeing a true color out of this light, not something that's too blue or too warm. Your colors and things like that when you're working on interiors, you should be able to see that in its natural color, in its real color, if you will. So you're not going to see a color change when you see that vehicle or whatever else you're working on in the daylight. It should be the same as you've seen it under this light. It's also protected from a 9-foot fall, but I'm not sure if that means from somebody throwing it across a room But anyway, it is very well protected, so we should see it be as rugged as these other guys here. So anyway, check it out for yourself. It's the 2367, $59 for the bare tool, so sans battery. There we go. So without the battery, you're looking at $59. By the way, you also get a 5-year warranty with the Rover service and repair light. Again, it's model number 2367. Check it out for yourselves. Hey, if you don't mind, would you keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter? By the way, would you hit the like button on this video and even the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet? We would really appreciate it. And by all means, if you hated our video, give us that thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.